You got your magic nuts. They have a clip on them that holds them in there. And what I like to do is just get it started. Push on with your thumb, and just it locks right over. So you want to mount it with the clip pointed towards the hinged part of the clip in. Get it started in the hole, and then push with your thumb while you're rotating the Allen wrench, and it'll click right into place. This is pretty difficult to install without a ball tip. So I'll start the screw in the magic nut. We're going to pull the other one down. I'm going to leave it loose to where I can move it up and down. And I'll put the Viki Holder, Viki unit in. And I'll adjust it up. I'm going to adjust it to where the wire's not under tension, but it's also not going to get caught on anything. It's about like that. So I'll just pull it back out and I'll finish tightening these screws. And I'll just hang my USB cable. Okay, the wiring is complete. The only thing that's going to be left to do is after you raise the table is to put the Z-axis cable tray on. That's the last thing I do. It's a good idea to go around and double check, make sure that none of your wires came off the limit switches. I've already adjusted the Z limit switch all the way down. When I installed the table, I just went ahead and threaded this down until it's activated. The bot should never go this low. So the important thing is after you raise it up the first time, go ahead and lower this about 100 thousandths, or about 2.5 millimeters. You want to have that down. That's what will give you clearance between the motor here and the table. So you're wanting to set that clearance. You want about 100 thousandths clearance between that, or 2.5 millimeters. And so by setting the limit switch with it on the motors, when you raise it up, you just lower that bolt down some more, and then you'll be good to go. Inside, and you got the back side of that. Wiring should look like that. Wires should look nice and straight, running down your axis. And like I said, you can straighten it pretty much any time. The wires kind of have a mind of their own. They're not as relaxed as I would like, but that's pretty good right there. And then you want to see the same thing all the way down the y-axis. You want the wires to be all running together. Let's see, we've got a nice straight section of wire, and we already tugged on them and made sure they were relatively loose in the cable trays. Make sure your X motor didn't pull out when you're putting the bracket on. We could plug this thing in and just see, out of curiosity, whether it's going to fire, whether it's just when it's running the program, you know what I mean? You want to make sure your wires get bent up here and they're not going to rub the bridge right there. Of course, it would be helpful if you check to make sure the power switch is off. So we'll cut it on, and you should see the Viki coming up.
Pretty.
Everything looks good. No temperatures are out of the ordinary. 21 degrees Celsius, that's about room temperature here today. So I'll hit the button, go to prepare. Auto home. Very satisfying. If it makes a racket, just turn it off when it hits the limit switch. So I like to stand right here and I'm watching for clearance between the hot end and the table, and I'm ready to hit this limit switch if I have to. I've usually got it adjusted. If you've got about an inch right there, that's usually a pretty good adjustment initially. On your first fire up, we don't tighten these up until we've cycled the bed up and down twice, and you want to tighten them up when the bed's in the top position. So now I'm watching the distance between the head and the table, and then my distance between the limit switch, and it looks like we're going to be pretty good because that's definitely narrower than that gap, so it's going to stop in plenty of time. And I won't adjust that distance until after I've leveled the bed. Okay. So since I sent this limit switch when I initially set the bed down, I'm going to go ahead and adjust this out. I'm going to go about 100 thousandths. So now what I need to do is I can put this cable tray in. This one I don't do the sections because it's already, the wire's already wrapped really good. So. One of the reasons why I do everything else in sections is you can see how easy it is to close the doors inadvertently, and then you're struggling with it and realize you're trying to put the wire down on a closed door. So I find it's easier just to do it in sections. If the last one doesn't want to close, it's because these screws are too tight, so you gotta loosen the screws up, get the lid to close. GoPro! So cool. That's it. Gigabot is finished.